So these players are ready to go. We have Warlock coming from Tibygod, going up against Pavel's Secret Paladin. So Pavel, I think, can play a lot of different decks. I've seen him play a variety of archetypes in the past. Tibygod is a bit unknown, and we've already seen a surprise player beat Martin Creek with a very surprise lineup. And looking in this list, we see Refreshment Vendor. So this tells me it's going to be Reno Jackson lock, but potentially could be very similar to Nias's Handlock with those double refreshment vendors. Dark Bomb is going to take care of this knife joker without too much problem. Noble Sack is down. Must Have a Battle comes off at the top. Nice for Pavel there. Start getting that pressure going again. No area spell removal for Tibygod at the moment. We'll probably just drop the Imp boss down, get a body to challenge these 1/1s.
I'll never tell.
Reporting for duty.
And the pressure is on from Pavel, dropping down that redemption as well to buff up the Secret Keeper. The Demon Wrath would do wonders here, but Tibi doesn't find it. Alright, Noble Sack going to be proccing off this redemption as well, building up the board even more. Probably going to see Refreshment Vendor. Tibygod will get the heal, and it doesn't really affect Pavel at this point. So Blessing of Kings should probably come down. Buff up one of these 1/1s. Fights for board. Doesn't want to put too much pressure on the life at this point, so make sure he doesn't get punished by Demon Wrath, for example, or doesn't open up any early Molten Giants. But things are going pretty smooth for Pavel at the moment. MC Tech comes to the hand. So is Tibi going to roll the dice?
Engaging TC-130
Gets the 2-1. It's not bad. Gets the Owl, the 5-2. So a very good response from Tibi, being able to deal with this board pretty easily. But here he is, and he's golden as well, so extra bling. And this is where the danger starts. These secrets will start buffing the 1/1s. It's going to allow a minion to stick to the board just to start activating everything. So the Avenge definitely needs to hit a 1/1 at this point. Or the 2/1. If it hits the Mysterious Challenger, that Siphon Soul is just going to eat him up. No problem at all. And it hits a 2/1. So not a terrible response. Is this comp? Yeah. We go to the Siphon Soul anyway. And Comp Spirit's going to come down. Not many targets for Keeper of Alderman at this point. So this could be quite a slow turn for Pavel. Might just play Haunted Creeper hero power. Puts him down to 16, so Molten Giants will cost 6. So doesn't have to worry about any board clear shenanigans. Pavel's just going on full aggression here, buffing the Haunted Creeper. So there's not much more needed from Pavel to finish this game off if no taunts come down. Might be super tempted to play Dr. Boom, but he may feel that a Sludge Belcher is needed. Can't tap either, because if he plays Belcher and the silence comes off the top of Pavel, tapping just won't be an option. Bloodsail Corsair is not bad. Mortal Coil doesn't have anything can hit at this moment. I mean, Bloodsail Corsair will make things better against Tyrion once he gets popped open. But the problem is that Pavel's just got so much on board. Dropping Tyrion Well, Tyrion, if Tyrion gets answered, he still needs to answer the rest of the board. So this Belcher is going to be dealt with. Might just go for board clear instead of hitting face if he wants to play around potential Molten Shadowflame. So that's something to consider as well. So Pavel's probably trying to work out what he has.
Should I?
I wouldn't mind seeing a clear on a Peddler. If you clear the Peddler with the Haunted Creeper, you play into Demon Wrath. That's something to consider. If you don't clear the Peddler, you may play into Power Overwhelming Shadowflame. So there's a lot of things to consider at this point. Tibygod doesn't have any of that stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty rough. Does get the Mortal Coil to deal with a 6-1 at least, so that will slow things down. Gets a second Mortal Coil, so now he can deal with the 2-1. Potentially play Healbot. Try and stay in the game. Oh, there's a Farseer. So can Healbot, can't Farseer on top of that. Could shred a Farseer if he feels safe, but there's a lot of power on board. Might just be a Healbot and pass. Or maybe pop up with a shield. Yeah, I think you should pop up with the shield. You've used Siphon Soul. If the board gets handled, if Pavel plays a bit more board-centric going forward, it might be very hard to pop up with that shield in the future, especially with those Mortal Coils being used. So 6. Low Feb gonna lock things out. So this is Pavel's game for the taking. I don't think this Reno Jackson would save the day. Oh, Reno Jackson, why? Why do I curse these players? Why do I curse them? Get rich, but you don't die trying. Gul'dan is just loaded. Gul'dan is the richest Hearthstone hero. There's no other deck that's utilized Reno Jackson like he has. Just rolling in the dough. Still, things are awkward. I mean, Reno Jackson only heals for... Let's have a look. 10, 18. So Reno Jackson only heals for 18. No, not 18, sorry. 12. Because 18 damage still. He did tap as well. So Pavel can just go face. And yeah, that Reno Jackson wouldn't have done much. It kept him in the game at least. But there's still more is required of Tibygod to fend off Pavel at this point.
Reporting for duty.
So it goes for some board play. Argus, not a bad pickup. So low feb Argus doesn't seem too bad. Low feb then contests Tyrion. Can Reno Jackson do anything on his own at this point to deal with Tyrion? Could play Dr. Boom into Argus. That was a potential play with the coin. I don't know. I don't think there's enough here to keep Tibygod in the game. He's really tried, but with that Keeper of Alderman in hand, Any big taunt that gets developed is going to be dealt with fairly easily. And without the stats to deal with at least the first part of Tyrion, and keep the minion on board, things are going to be pretty sad. So Keeper of Alderman's going to deal with Reno Jackson without too much problem. Keeper of Alderman and 1/1 is going to deal with Path Treader, and then that is 6. Yeah, that should be lethal. Should be 6, 9. Yeah, so that's lethal. Or have I not counted the trade into Reno Jackson? No, I haven't counted the trade into Reno Jackson yet. So, Alderman on Jackson, clear with a free one. Then you need to use another free one and 1/1s to clear the Shredder. You have 11. So no, not quite there just yet. I didn't think that trade. I can happily run everything into the face. So this locks him out of tapping. He'll need to heal a little bit more. Twisted Never off the top. But that won't be enough. Not without a 2-drop to tank the Ashbringer. Sun Fairy Protector would be able to taunt up a Dark Peddler or something. I don't know if there's anything that you can do at this point. Dr. Boom, Sun Fairy Protector isn't enough.
I wonder.
Twist and Never is gonna clear everything, and Pavel's gonna get access to that weapon.
Almost out of time.
If there was a 2-drop, it would have been enough to keep him at bay, but Pavel is going to take game number 1. And although the Reno Jackson lock fought as hard as he could to stay in the game, it just wasn't enough. Too much pressure coming from Pavel's Secret Paladin. But Tibby should be happy, he doesn't have to see that again. Secret Paladin is off the table. He can hope for honesty coming from Pavel's next list. No zoos, no druids, let's just keep her honest, third. Now, Pavel is a player who plays to win. He is a person with a lot of ambition, from what I can tell. So he's going to want to get these HCT points this week. So he's going to bring what he's been playing the most, probably, and what he's the best at. So Reno Jackson lock is still left for Tibby. He's going to be able to play that game deck again in the future of this series, unless he just buries it at the bottom of his lineup and says, if I get to play this deck again, I will. Otherwise, I'm not touching the game. I'll have to see what he decides to do. But we're ready to go into the next match. Game number 2. Round 3 of the GosuCup EU. And he's gone to the Druid. He's like, I've had enough. And Pavel looks like he's got a Zoolock. And this is a good matchup for the Zoolock on paper. With a very fast start as well. Flame Imp into Knife Juggler. Let's see what Tibby gets. Now he gets to keep it the Grove, but no ramp. So if he keeps drawing kind of high-end stuff, Pavel may take the board by storm with all these low-cost minions he has available. Harrison Jones teched into the Druid. Maybe worried about a lot of the warriors. So Knife Juggler, probably Abusive Sergeant as well, squeezing that extra damage. Now he's going to keep hold of Abusive. Maybe he's going to consider using it against taunts like Druid of the Claw. Do you just play Big Game Hunter? I guess that's the question. If you hero power and pass, is that a winning play? Big Game Hunter gets handled by 2 knives.
What to do?
Goes to the hero power, so he's going to save the Big Game Hunter. Big Game Hunter does have a lot of targets, don't get me wrong. It has Sea Giants. It also has Dr. Boom, of course. So there is a consideration not to play it, in case you're afraid of some of the more power plays coming from the Zulok. But the only issue is now, look at this board. Flame Imp going to be picked up. Going to be able to drop that Flame Imp. And this is a lot for a Druid to deal with. Especially without like Falnos Swipe or Azure Drake Swipe. So Keeper of the Grove gonna have to deal with this Knife Juggler.
Safeguard the
But still a lot of imps on board. Direwolf Alpha is gonna allow a clean trade with one of the imps. 1 mana for 4, can't fault that. And then you can drop an egg as well, and then set up an egg play for next turn. In combination with the coin as well and Doomguard, there's a lot of damage potential coming from Pavel's hand next turn. So this is looking really scary for Tibby. Druid of the Claw could come down to try and create some defenses. Low-Feb. Shred it into Living Roots on the Direwolf Alpha to try and lock out that egg. I think I prefer Shredder Living Roots at this point. Yep, he goes for that. That Direwolf Alpha is just too much hassle, I think. So now we could have the egg deal. So we could have the egg deal with the Piloted Shredder. Could go aggressive instead. Could just like pump damage out now. Play Knife Juggler, Abusive, Overwhelming, swing into face, take him down really low, and then Doomguard's there to follow up.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Looks like Pavel's going to go for the safer lineup play. That Flame Imp can deal with that with no problem. And the board still belongs to Pavel. Druid of the Claw's going to come down hoping that there isn't enough to punch through. But Power Overwhelming combined with Doomguard should be enough for Pavel to take game number 2. So very convincing win from the Zulok there. A clunky hand for Tibby. Not finding any innovates, any wild growths to start ramping up. And Pavel just took advantage of that and stayed on board for the whole time. There was never a situation where Tibby ever won the board back. So very tough match. So Pavel's down to his last deck. So I'm gonna bank on this being a Druid. Looks like he's going for the safe lineup of Druid, Warlock, Paladin. I could be wrong. Maybe Patron Warrior. That's another possibility as well. But they're going right into it. And it is indeed the Druid. We're going to have a Druid mirror.
Nature
Harrison Jones
must
is
be
not going to have
preserved.
much influence in this game. So the tech choice for this deck from Tibi isn't going to pay off in any of the following games now. Because if he doesn't win this, he's out. And if he wins it, the Harrison had no effect. Double Innovate Coin Wildgrove Ancient of War for Pavel. Not bad. So next turn he can... yeah, so next turn he can play a 10-5 if he really wanted. I'm probably going to go with the Wildgrove. Coin Wildgrove will take him to 3 mana. And then he can innovate that way if he wants. So this is what he's probably thinking about. Does he want to coin Wildgrowth? Is he going to go for Ancient of War next turn? Is that the plan at the moment? If he coins Wildgrowths and he draws Shade next turn, maybe play the Shade instead, save the Innovate so they can be spread out a little bit more. No Wildgrowth for Tibi. Hero Power feels bad, man. Innovate Shade doesn't seem great at all. Innovate into Druid's Claw next turn has potential. Might wanna keep it for that Dr. Boom. So there we go. Double Innovate Ancient of War turn 2. The power of the Druid. Oh, doesn't go for the 10-5. Of course you wouldn't, but, you know, those little things make me happy. Just players playing super aggressive. Reckless, some would even say. But Pavel goes for the save 5-10, which I'm not surprised at. There's not a lot a Druid can do at this point. Even if Silence came down, you still have a 5-5 to deal with. So, Shade? Shade pass? Is that what's going to happen here?
Time waits for no one.
Shade gets buffed up to a 3-3 next turn. In combination with Swipe, that's 7 damage. With Living Roots, which you can't squeeze in. Not quite enough. So Druid Claw is going to come down because there's 6 health. Hoping that will stop him in his tracks, but Wrath is probably going to cycle. Pavel does have the turn 5 play with Lothar, but he doesn't have much else. I'm not going to go for the cycle. Okay. I'm going to keep a hold of that Wrath. Doesn't quite need it yet. Like I said, he has the turn 5 already. So Swipe Living Roots is going to be able to deal with that Ancient of War next turn. But he does stick around. That 5 damage is probably going to go face. I don't mind playing the 1/1s here. Yeah, the 1/1s seem pretty good.
What to do?
Oh, it doesn't go for it. Swipe would have answered that without too much problem, but Swipe isn't going to be able to be used because Lothar comes down. And the plans of Tibygod have been ruined. Innovate is not the draw. Hero Power is the only thing that can be done this turn. Ouch. Pavel is just taking this whole series by storm. It's just relentless. And now Shredder can be slammed in the middle with the Hero Power. 11 damage pushing to face. That Lothar having a lot of influence on keeping this Ancient War on board. And locking out an entire turn from Tibi last turn. And this Ancient of War's done so much damage already. So the Shade can run into the Ancient of War, can use a Living Roots to take it out, and then innovate out Dr. Boom. Looks like he's going for the more defensive play, Living Roots on the 5-2. Probably run the Shade into the low feb and hope for the best. Could have done that first after the swipe. Because if a Doomsayer came out, Tibby's job would have been done without using all his resources. Belcher Hero Power. This could be the non-combo list. There was a non-combo Ramp Druid that reached high legend on NA. I can't remember which player it was. But yeah, that's what he was using. He did pretty well with it. And had Scenarius in it. No pieces of combo at all. Belchers as well. See if I can find a list. It does look very familiar. Wyra, sorry, is this in EU rank? Sorry, my bad. So Wyra finished rank 36 last season on EU ladder with a Scenarius Ramp Druid running Belchers, 2 Ancient of Wars. So Dr. Boom's going to come down, try and get something done. But the combination of Swipe and this Elk, we'll be able to take him out without too much problem. I'm going to cycle the Wrath first. Oh, it doesn't cycle, sorry. He's just going to clean swipe. Could play the Aspirant here. I wonder if Pavel's considering swiping face and his hero power in face, take him down to 1. Good bomb for him. So there is enough damage on board to finish off Tibygod. He's going to need an Ancient of Law heal to stay in the game. Scenarius will buff the damage by 4. If I'm correct. So Innovate Hero Power puts him up to 11. It's going to be 9, 10. So that is lethal with Scenarius. If he doesn't Innovate Hero Power, he is out of the game. And the series is going to go to Pavel. So this is pretty much one of the biggest decisions you have to make. And that is going to be it. Scenarius is going to buff up his friends. His happy little friends. And Pavel is not going to be able to hero power, of course. He hasn't got enough mana. My bad, guys. Sap the caster. Sap the caster. However, how does the Druid get out of this situation?
Well played. What to do? I concede.
And he doesn't. So Pavel is going to take a 3-0 win there over his opponent, Tibygod. Very convincing, using very streamlined decks. That Ramp Druid was probably the most unusual. But like I said, Wyra reached rank 36 recently in the Legend ranks with that deck. So congrats to Pavel. He'll be moving on to round 4. So yeah, I'll try and get you another game as quick as possible. And be sure to go to GosuGamers.net/Hearthstone to learn more about this cup. And of course, type !bracket in the chat to get that bracket up if you want to see what's going on. So don't go anywhere, guys. Going to get this match for you as soon as possible. I'll be back very soon.